today, in the next 10 to 15, I think 15 slides, I'd like to present a summary of main actors and opportunities that I found to support German and Chilean projects. Of course, you might know more stakeholders or more financing opportunities than the ones I present here. So if you do know, or if you think I'm missing something, please contact me and let me know. And I want to put it in my database to make it available for everyone. So what type of calls and what type of opportunities I'm including today? I'm including, or I will talk about only calls fitting into the 4 topics of IECO. Again, biomass, water energy nexus, urban industrial ecology, and underground resources. The call should support actions in research, education, and innovation. And the calls should offer advantages for both German and Chilean partners. For example, at least the calls I was looking for at least needed to include project cost for both partners, or travel cost for both partners, guest researcher cost, or something. So you will not find here in this listing or in this presentation things which only are exclusively only for German or only for Chilean partners. Exception, of course, are the teaching actions, because the scholarships, it's only for the scholarship holder, but still I think it's important to mention them because it's a mobility action, which also helps for the networking. I'd like to start with Chile. One, or like the main action or stakeholder is the Agencia Nacional de Investigación y Desarrollo, short ANIT. Before it was known as CONICIT. Some of you know for sure, all Chileans know, Germans might not know. Before it was CONICIT, and now it's called ANIT. And it offers, this is like the main source. I also made like a nickname for all of them. This is the main source in Chile, the way I found it. It offers you the possibility with the becas program, which means scholarships. It offers master, PhD programs, internships during your PhDs, or postdoc stays abroad. It's important to mention that this year, due to COVID, some of the international scholarships were suspended, but our friends from ANIT say and are confident that next year, after the reorganization of the budgets, the international calls will be open again, latest in 2 years. But this was until now an ongoing program, always, every year. The Fondesit is also a part of the program or the lines of funding of Agencia of ANIT. And usually it offers funding for researchers in 3 different levels of experience. The postdocs receive usually amounts for around 86,000 euros for their postdoc projects. The advanced postdocs or like early researchers get about 97,000 euros. And the regular Fondesit call has a funding for around 2,050,000 euros. And this is regarding the level of experience of the researcher. Through the PCI program, there is a possibility to access to internships in specific fields. There are also short-term visit programs. There are mid-term visit programs for incoming. I mean, that means from Europe, for example, Germany to Chile. And there is the possibility to found collaborative seminars in Chile, and together with the German Ministry for Research and Education, the BMBF, they also publish together thematic calls in which ANIT covers the cost for the Chilean part and BMBF covers the cost for the German parts. Here, it is mostly about collaboration. This is the program for Cooperación Internacional. And it offers, the focus is mostly in this networking, this collaboration. This is why the amounts are not as fancy as here. This is up to 25,000 euros normally, and up to 76,000 euros for calls together with BMBF. This, I mean, all of the programs got affected by COVID. Some of the, for example, the specific networking program called Redes was not open this year. The call was not open this year, but we'll keep an eye on it and see if it opens again next year. The FONDAP is a program line focusing on the creation and strengthening of research centers. There is up to 1 million euros here for the financing of projects. And there is the regional program line focusing on the regional development in Chile, of different regions in Chile for research and development, also up to 1 million. And the FONDEF is a program line focusing on the innovation. For example, with the idea call to help researchers also in any stage of your career to bring new products to the market. And there is a capacity development program for new ventures. This is a co-founding scheme, it's not a grant, and you have to cover 20% of your project because this founding line only covers 80% of the cost of the projects, and it's maximum 250,000 euros. And NEED has also like the kings, like the king and the queen of the calls are the Milenio Centros and the Los Núcleos Milenio as well. So nowadays they are under the ANIT as well. Before they were located in another agency, but this year they went over to ANIT. So this is where the calls will be coming from. And this is a very prestigious and very, very competitive call, but it's also the most juicy one. It offers for the excellence research institutes called centros. It offers for at least 6 excellent or like top level researchers, $1 million for 10 years of your centro. And they get evaluated every 5 years. And the núcleos are very similar, but they are for a smaller consortium with at least 3 researchers, and they get evaluated more often. Here, like I said, it's very competitive, and the new calls are open as budget is available. So that is what I got from my direct contacts there. And for example, if all núcleos and all centros are super excellent and they all pass evaluation, they will all get the financiation again, and then there will be only a new call if the ANIT agency gets more budget above of that. So it's not really sure when there will be more like places. But my recent information is that they were planned to open by the end of this year. So we'll keep our eyes open. Now, CORFA, this is the Corporación de Fomento a la Producción. This is also a Chilean agency. And they are mostly for innovation projects, and there is always co-finance schemes. So what you will find is, for example, on the right side, there is one project or program line called Innova Alta Tecnología. It's for research, development, and innovation projects with a very high risk. And the benefit for universities is that they can be hired by the applicant. I mean, an entrepreneur has an idea with a high commercial risk, and it cannot be an university as an institution, the applicant, but it could be maybe a researcher who wants to do it by himself, and he can hire the university. There is up to 520,000 euros, and it's a 50% co-finance. So still you will need a lot of extra financing for yourself. The startup is a little bit smaller, but it offers 80% co-finance and is not focused on these high risk entrepreneurships, but it's open to any innovation project. And universities can also be allowed as partners, not only be hired, but universities can be also allowed in the development of the new project, in the new product. Now, the retos, there are different retos de innovación. That means innovation challenges. And this is also a program line from Corfo to develop solutions to problems in the public sector. What my information was that there were some surveys or some questionnaires or some discussions with the public sector, and the public sector or the government said to Corfo, well, we need support with several challenges. For example, so-called Marea Roja, there was challenge with the pollution of the oceans. There is pollution with there's problems with the availability of the water resources and so on. So they prepare different retos de innovación according to the needs of the public sector. And honestly, I do not know when they're coming up nowadays, but the program is there. And we are in contact with Corfo persons And also we are following their social media, and we are following the websites to be aware of when there's something open and to inform our network of researchers. All together in the Plan Estratégico, which is like the master plan of Corfo, they have almost $4 million of total in the program, not only for innovation actions, sorry, but also to support universities in the integration of the innovation as part of their engineering curriculum. So it's sort of like a higher education action coming from Corfo to support the education and the formation of more entrepreneurs already from their studies phase. And this is just a selection of Corfo. Now I realize that it looks like a hamburger, or maybe I'm just hungry. And now, Chile has also an interesting organization called Fundación para la Innovación Agraria, so Agricultural Innovation Foundation. And this is, I think, especially interesting for people working in the sustainable use of biomass. I was able to find two very interesting calls, one called Innovation Projects on the top and Innovative Entrepreneurship. This is the Spanish name. And the one on top is for innovation projects in the agricultural sector. Any legal entity can apply. Also universities, but only if an industrial partner is included as a founder of this project. 160,000 euros are there in a 70% co-funding scheme. And Emprendimiento Innovador is an action more like early entrepreneurs or younger entrepreneurs. As you see, what I found in the call, it was like the age was restricted. For example, I would not be able to apply anymore because I'm 36, no, a bit older. But it's for collaboration with universities as well. And this is a 90% co-founding scheme. However, the amounts are only 60,000 euros, which might still be interesting to go to the next technology readiness level of your idea. We're almost getting at the end of my Chilean selection, and I want to highlight now SofaHub, which is the Sociedad de Fomento Fabril in their innovation spin-off. And this is an agency for problem solving in cooperation with Chilean industry. Their mission is to make collaborative ecosystems to bring together the Chilean companies and to generate solutions to common business challenges. So this collective problem solving. So SofaHub has public and private organizations, and they bring them together to generate the solutions to common challenges, and they have calls to proposals and selected actors which are not public. They are invited to, the organizations that are in their network are invited to apply. And IECO is, we are very close to SofaHub, especially with the Biotechnology Center. And there is a memorandum of understanding in progress with them to get access to the calls and to make it available to our researchers so that IECO researchers from the universities associated with IECO are eligible for participation. And Prochile, this organization came a couple of times already today, is the international, is searching for the internationalization of the Chilean companies, and it promotes the export of Chilean goods and services. And why am I mentioning this? Because Prochile is also interested in promoting innovation and in bringing the sustainability standards of any Chilean company to the international standards. And not all of the companies have the possibilities by their own. So Prochile is interested also in working together with IECO to help the researchers to get in contact with the companies, especially small and medium enterprises. And we are also interested to get to know more Chilean companies, which might require some expertise from the IECO researchers. For this, there is already a memorandum of understanding signed with the KIT for the collaboration inside the Global Horizon program. And IECO is the contact point for any Global Horizon programs in the Chilean area. And now let's change to Europe. Probably Daad is known to most of you or to all of you, the German Academic Exchange Service, the DAAD. And this is the top address for joint higher education actions. Daad, let me check my time. yeah, I'm gonna hurry up a little bit. Daad offers scholarships for master and PhDs, offers programs for summer schools, calls for summer school that you can apply to. And this is the one IECO applied to and we were successful. This is why we get financing for next year, preparing a summer school in Valdivia. And these summer schools can be done in Germany and Chile, and this is to promote professional training. Daad also makes special calls or thematic calls. In the past, there was IBAC and IP Digital. They were for virtual academic cooperation, and it was boosted this year because of COVID, because of the need to enter more joint virtual collaboration. The ISAP program is to promote instructor and student exchange. And this is to complete part of their degree at the partner university. This is a mobility action. Daad also fosters programs for guest lecturers to provide the financing for the guest to the visiting institution. Now, the German Research Association, Deutsche Forschungsgemeinschaft, DFG, this is a very, very, very competitive, but very flexible source of financing your German-Chilean projects because it comes with modular programs. This is an overview of all of the programs they have, but I'm just gonna highlight a few of them. This is, for example, in the part of the mobility the funding for specific individuals, we have the investigators pillar, we have the Walter Benjamin program and research fellowships. This is more for early career researchers, and they found the actions in Germany, but also abroad for maximum of 2 years. Under the teams column, I want to highlight the research units calls. They are to work more or less on 10 single projects on a common research topic. So this is like, it could be more than 5 or 10 researchers, as long as they are not more than 10 projects, and it gets financed for 3 years, and you can renew for 1 more time so that you have 6 years in total. I think it's also interesting for German-Chilean collaboration, the possibility of the scientific networks calls in the forum pillar. This is for multi-year scientific network and cooperation. These funds 10 to 20 people plus their guests to work in common meetings. This is in case you have to plan joint research papers, joint publications, development of research methods. This is more like a networking, like the name says, scientific networks. Regarding institutions, as an institution, as a university, you can apply for a collaborative research center or transregions. And this should be based Germany or EU-based, but the participation of Chileans is also possible via some of the modules they offer, for example, for guest researchers. In the forum pillar, you have the research training groups and the DFG research centers, which is for joint doctoral training programs. And they found you up to 9 years. And this is, again, should be consortium of several institutions, as the main pillar says. And the research centers is like the largest of all programs. It offers almost $20 million euros, but it's like the highest award they can give. It's very limited, and there is always a very defined topic. It's always a dedicated topic, and you have to make sure that your universities really have the most excellence in this topic to get access to this funding. But it's also open for cooperation with industry, and it's up to 12 years if you get past all of the reviewing periods. Summarizing DFG, this is very competitive. Normally it focuses on Germany or EU location, but you can have access as a partner or also as in the exchange programs like the Walter Benjamin program or the fellowships, the research fellowships. And you have modules, for example, in all of these areas. And I want to make a word especially to our German colleagues. There are always modules that you can apply for in your ongoing DFG programs. For example, the Mercator Fellowships allows you to invite a guest researcher for up to 1 year. You can also apply for international cooperation network funds. You can also apply for gender equality funds. This is all like on top of what is going on. And the proposals can be submitted anytime. There are no deadlines except for the DFG research centers. So it's always ongoing. If you have an idea, you can prepare your proposal and submit it. And the BMBF we mentioned as well is a very multifaceted, but it's also very focused. And sometimes they like to work behind the scenes. Regarding IECO, they have calls or program lines in the environment and climate, energy system transformations, natural sciences, and future trends. These translate into specific calls in biodiversity, bioeconomy, city of future, resource efficiency, and so on. And the calls of BMBF are distributed all over the year. Interesting fact number one, the BMBF collaborates with, for example, DAD providing the funds, but not hosting the call. So sometimes it gets confusing. DAD organizes and publishes the call, but the funding is actually coming from BMBF. Interesting fact number two, BMBF has cooperation agreements with other countries, and our sources inform us that the next agreement will be done with Chile in the autumn of 2021. And the International Affairs Office of CAITE has played a role in that this cooperation discussion will take place at the same time that our inauguration, hopefully next year, if everything and if COVID allows. And number three, BMBF also provides a scholarship of master and PhD students for selected thematic areas. So we only need to keep our eyes open and see when they have a suitable call for IECO topics. Then if you register for our newsletter and for getting information, we can let you know when those are coming. And more opportunities in Germany are, for example, from KIT, the Karlsruhe House of Young Scientists. And there are also the Excellence Initiative Funds in KIT to foster mobility, to foster young researchers and so on. Joachim Herz Foundation, Volkswagen Stiftung, the Ministerium for Energy and Economy, Alexander von Humboldt organization. There are a lot of organizations that we are monitoring to see when something suitable for IECO is coming. We have an eye on that, and we exchange the information with you. Now, the last 5 minutes before we start with the questions, I will not forget to mention the big shot, which is the European Commission, of course. Until today, until the end of this year, there will be the Horizon 2020 to talk about, but this is coming to an end. So I'm just gonna skip it because it's going to finish and our time too. But it's important to know that the European Commission has a strategic plan to work with Latin America. And Chile is one of the strategic partners for the European Commission. And there are specific actions and specific calls to be expected in the next 7 years when Horizon Europe comes. What can we expect from Horizon Europe? The preliminary structure, and this is what is available. I think the final structure will be published around March or April. Includes very similar challenges as the Horizon 2020 call. Amongst them, we have climate, energy and mobility, food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture and environment. This is for calls for a joint application of organizations like a consortia of universities. But on the pillar one, let's not forget that they have mobility actions inside, for example, Marie Sklodowska-Curie action. This is for mobility of researchers so that you can work in a different country and you can move to Europe, for example, to follow your research. The Horizon Europe is the biggest framework program so far with around 100 billion of budget. And around 30% of this call will be spent in contribution to climate objectives. The calls will get started, I think, January, February, the first calls will be open, and many of them are suitable to IECO, but they are not 100% defined yet, so I will not share any details about the specific calls with you, but they will be there, a lot of opportunities. And now the last slide for today is about the organization is the Vermont Forum. This is another organization founded for very different organizations in multinational consortia. And the good thing here is that it works a little bit similar to the European Commission, but the research can take place anywhere. It doesn't have the focus of generating added value for Europe as a main goal. The Vermont Forum has a main goal to generate added value for the whole world. So this is why it's more open. From the European Commission, as well as from Germany, from the BMBF and the DFG, are some of the funding organizations. So Germany is automatically eligible. And from the American, the Inter-American Institute for Global Change Research, as well as the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Productive Innovation from Argentina are funding organizations. It's still interesting, even if a need is not there, it's still interesting, might be that in the future, Chile might join the Vermont Forum as well. So a few conclusions before we start with the questions. Just 2 slides on the bottom. So there is, of course, a problem that we are in different sides of the ocean for project funding. Some ideas from my side is you can search for complementary calls in each of your countries if you want to work in a partnership and then apply with the whole project. So to separate funding sources, but only one project. Or some strategy that the researchers use is to break down your projects into complementing packages, and then you apply to funding to different calls at different organizations. And at the end, you have like a large umbrella project on top, like a puzzle. And then I would like to emphasize that it's important to always look for the exchange and networking opportunities for all these additional modules that you can apply for or that you can use in your proposals, and to really use them, because this is, in my experience, almost always included in the calls. Sometimes it's a small budget, sometimes it's a big budget, but there's always budget for exchange and for some mobility. So let's use it as a maximum. So the funding chances for single researchers, for example, research stays, are a good way to boost your networking and to increase or prepare for larger propositions or larger applications in the future. So the last thing, why don't we also be a little bit creative? The German colleagues can invite Chilean researchers to join their team here as a project team member located in Germany, and the other way around. From Chile, you can also always, if you know the person here, you can always invite them to join your proposal and join your project. And if it gets accepted, the German researcher will move to Germany for to Chile for some years. Might be attractive for some people. I know it's hard, the mobility, but it could be an option. So not everything will work out. So every idea, I think, is important to consider. So final slide is the IECO food. We call it food because it's the Financing Opportunities Database. It's a document that is living. I'm always getting feedback from topic speakers and the IECO researchers, and I'm putting everything in a database. So I can search for suitable opportunities, and I have also the opportunity to contact the researchers with more targeted information. In the future, we will know more about which projects are planned by each topic team. There will be some strategy papers so that I can keep my eyes open for suitable programs. And we like to invite you to have a proactive approach for large projects. So to develop first your project idea and then search for a suitable call. Otherwise, it's sometimes difficult to have enough time to plan a large idea once the call is open. So this is it. I'm 1 minute late, but I'm really happy that you managed to stay until the end of the session. And now is the time that you could raise your hand, turn on your microphone, or just write down some questions